Liberal leader of Canada on the phone right now, Justin Trudeau. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Doing really well. Excited about getting up across northern Alberta, Lac La Biche, and Fort McMurray and other places to try and engage with Canadians and talk about the kind of challenges we're facing.
That's right. Like, you will be at the Native Canadian Friendship Centre, correct? That's later this afternoon. What time?
I'll be there this afternoon around I don't know, about 4 o'clock.
4:30 or something. That's right.
4:45 even. Yeah.
That's right. And like you said, you're going to be there because it's all the same riding, right? Fort McMurray and Lac La Biche. So you'll be talking shop with residents and local issues with that by-election coming up. So how do you feel the chances are for a Liberal to take the seat that has long been held by a Tory?
Well, I think people are feeling fairly frustrated about being taken for granted by the Conservatives, about the fact that there has been a decided mark towards, instead of having strong voices from the community to speak for you in Ottawa, you're getting instead someone in your community who's speaking for Ottawa to you. And that's been a breakdown of our democratic principles, and certainly of the way people, particularly in Alberta, feel about how democracy should be grassroots up. So I'm very excited about the kind of response I'm getting. I'm encouraging everyone to make sure that they do go out and make their voice heard in this upcoming by-election, because turnout is always really, really important in by-elections, and that's why I'm getting to places like Lac La Biche and Wabasca to try and make sure that people understand that the Liberal Party is serious about being a good voice for them.
That's wonderful. And obviously with Fort McMurray and stuff like that, you know that it's out there in the news. People are talking about it, the impact of the oil sands on the environment and the Athabasca Chippewa First Nation. What are your thoughts about the issues there and possible government funding a cancer study in the area because of what's going on?
Well, I was up in Fort Chip a few years ago on exactly that, on listening to elders and community leaders on their worries and concerns, and it all comes down to the fact that our government has not done a very good job of demonstrating and reassuring people that that science is being aggressively pursued and robustly done to make sure that people are not becoming vulnerable to what's happening in the exploitation of the oil sands and the development that we have, but also to reassure Canadians in general that we're not looking for short-term profits that are going to leave us long-term much poorer on an environmental level and even on a monetary level if we don't balance it right. So that message is resonating extremely well. I mean, we believe that we do need to continue to expand our economy and continue to develop our natural resources, but we know that we have to do it in a responsible way, and that means making sure that we're developing social license, listening to the communities that are affected by this development, and respecting the views of very serious and concerned scientists on how to best do it.
Well, that's wonderful. And speaking about funding, I wanted to go back to more of a federal level because obviously we're a strong Aboriginal voice. 12 years ago, the Liberal government invested $350 million, I had read about, and you feel the federal government needs to continue to invest that money for the Aboriginal healing. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Well, I think one of the things that we understand as a legacy of residential schools is that there's a concern about institutions that is deeply held and with good reason in Aboriginal communities, and therefore making sure that we're creating centers and initiatives that are run by First Nations people, by Aboriginals, and delivered to and in a way that is traditional and respectful, while including obviously the modern medicine that has beneficial effects as well, is part of respecting and partnering with First Nations and Aboriginal communities across the country. It's not about imposing a top-down approach. It's about understanding that we're building strong communities in lots of different ways, and that's something that needs to continue.
Perfect. And heading over just quickly to Bill C-33 and obviously the shocking resignation of Sean Atleo last week. What do you think about that? They're trying to make it so that First Nations are, trying to have the most say, but they feel like they've been left out of the process. What do you think about that?
Well, I think the process issue is an important one. The federal government needs to needs to be a strong partner, and needs to be respectful and listen and work with First Nations, Métis, and Inuit peoples across the country, and not dictate to. And I think there certainly were, as Sean Atleo pointed out, good things about this bill, but the sense that it was yet again something that was being imposed made it a non-starter for far too many Native peoples across the country, and that's why people have sent the government back to the drawing board on this.
Great. You obviously grew up in Eastern Canada and have close ties there. If you become Prime Minister in 2015, how will you make Western provinces feel like part of the family?
Well, I grew up out west, but with out east, but with deep Western roots. My grandfather was MP for Vancouver North for close to 20 years, and I spent my professional career as a teacher entirely out west through my 20s. So I'm deeply grounded in all parts of the country, and I understand more than many that Canada cannot be a country that is segmented into regions, or particularly for political gain, where people play up the West against the East, or urban against rural, or even English against French, or new Canadians against people who've been here for a century against people who've been here forever, in the case of First Nations peoples. This divisive approach might be good for a few votes, but it's not good to govern the country. And I've been absolutely committed, and that's one of the reasons I'm out here in Alberta so often, to demonstrating that we will not write off or ignore any corner of the country, because we need to be bound together as a country as we are by our values and our hopes and dreams for the future. And that's something that we have a lot of work still to go on, but I'm committed to doing.
Great. Speaking of family and the ties, how do you deal with all of these personal attacks? You have a wife and 2 young children. It must be hard to maintain a normal everyday life.
Well, I was raised in a political family where, unfortunately, I got some very mean attacks from a very early age, and in the schoolyard and in various places. But I learned to close them out a little bit, to understand that what I'm doing and how the vast majority of Canadians value the kind of service that my family first, and then now me, are offering to the country, makes it so that when I see a personal attack, I understand that it says much more about the attacker than it does about me, and that's certainly the case with these negative and malicious attacks the Conservatives are engaged in. I'm going to continue to let them focus on me. I'm going to stay focused on Canadians. Good.
It goes without saying, like you said, your father had a major influence in your career choice. But with Mother's Day coming up this weekend, how has your own mom helped mold and shape your personal and political views?
You know what? Over my life, obviously, people have come up to me all the time to tell me what an impact my father had on them and how his service touched them. But for the past 4 or 5 years, ever since my mom has become really vocal in her advocacy of mental health issues and destigmatization and working with various causes, people have come up to me to tell me just how much of an impact my mom has, to almost a greater degree than my father. And I can't tell you how incredibly proud I am of her and of all that she's struggled through and all she's achieved. And on Mother's Day, I will be celebrating some extraordinary strong women in my life, notably my mother and my wife.
Oh, that's great. What's tops on your priority list in the next few months? What do you got on the go?
Continuing the balance, family and hard work. I need to get out across the country, continuing to demonstrate to Canadians that politics can be more than just watching old men shout at each other on the question period. That it's about building stronger communities and having engaged discussions about how we're going to build a future in which everyone has a real and fair chance. And for me, as always, it'll involve engaging with First Nations and Métis and Inuit leaders and citizens across the country who will be part of building this better future in a really important way in the coming years.
Okay, I wanted to ask you one more thing, because I know that Wally and Angela want to get in and ask you a couple of things. I just wanted to say, because I'm a huge hockey fan, what did you think about the Habs loss? Can they save this series with Boston? What do you think?
heartbreaking. I mean, the difference between a 3-1 series and a 2-2 series is huge.
Huge.
What we saw was just some great hockey through 3 periods last night, and with all the chances that both teams had, it was really it was going to end that way, one way for one side or the other. And I'm really hopeful that the Canadians are going to continue to surprise everyone with how they're pulling together, and of course between the magic of both Carey Price and our favorite player these days, PK Subban, I'm really confident that we're going to go the whole way.
Oh, well, that's great. I would love to see them do that too. And did you know that René Bourque is from Lac La Biche?
I did not know that. Okay,
yes.
Well, he's my next favorite player.
Yeah, hometown hero, exactly. Great. It was wonderful talking with you, honestly, and would love to hear your views on things, and great to see you out here getting in touch with the people. And it's something great about a political leader that, gets in there and just wants to be, part of the people like everyone else.
That's right.
Really pleased to be here.
I'm from Lac La Biche as well, too.
Oh, you're my next favorite player. There you go.
And I'm going to make sure that I get all my aunties over there to feed you well.
Wonderful. Yeah, I know. That's that's always a real challenge, keeping in shape when I'm being so well fed right across the country.
Justin, if you like soft ice cream, V&H out in Lac La Biche has the best.
That's right.
Okay,
just to let you know.
And they make the best fries and gravy. And don't just get yourself a single order, get a family pack because you'll want more. You'll want more.
You got it all down. You decided you want me to not fit into the airplane seat.
You only live once. Justin, it's an honor to speak with you this morning. I wanted to ask you, I'm a music lover. I'm sure you're a music lover as well. And we all have a song that motivates us. Now, mine is John Lennon's Give Peace a Chance. I wanted to ask you, what's your motivational song?
Well, I mean, I'm a huge music lover, so there's a wide range of them. But where I needed huge motivation a couple of years ago was as I walked into the boxing ring to take on let's just say a character that I wanted to make sure that I did well against. To not say anymore, and I used Canaan's waving flag, which always pumps me up and keeps me focused on the kind of wins and kind of engagement that is needed across the world.
It's a beautiful song.
It is.
Well, thank you so much, Justin. It was an honor.
Yes, it was.
Yes, Justin
Trudeau.
Guys.
We'll talk to you again soon.
Absolutely. Have yourself a great trip out in Lac La Biche there today.
I will, Wally. Thank you.
Okay, bye for now.
Take care.
Bye.